What's happening everyone, Pack Lemming here with a short video, hopefully, or a series of videos about Dark Souls 3 and its new mod. I say new, I don't actually know how old it is, but it did sneak up on me and I want to show you what it's about because I think if you play Dark Souls 3, the Mage or Sorcerer class and Pyromancer class and Faith builds kind of felt a little bit lackluster in, PvE. Some of the bosses were a bit more difficult. But this mod overhauls the magic system, overhauls the classes, and really gives you a ton of options, like a lot of options. I mean, it. So I want to show you what they are and show you what they're like up against the first boss of the mod in, like I say, just a short series of videos. So stick with me if Dark Souls 3 is your thing, and indeed if magic is your thing. So here we are at the character creation screen, and from what you can see, it looks fairly standard. Even at first glance, you can see that the glove in this guy's left hand is new. It's interesting. It's actually a Geomancer. So when I said it completely overhauls the game, this mod does exactly that. So here we have all of the classes that I want to show you over the course of the next couple of videos. So we have a Geomancer, a Pyromancer, Cryomancer, a Druid, which I'm really excited about, Holy Cleric, a Priest of Gwyn, Blood Priest, which has one of the best weapons I've ever encountered, a Necromancer, an Aeromancer, yes, that's right, a Sorcerer, which is fairly standard stuff, a Warlock, a Light Sorcerer, that'll be fun. I believe that's probably just faith-based, or not, looking at the stats. An Alchemist, which I find really interesting. Arcane Infiltrator. A Battle Mage, which the armor set looks really nice, actually, in that weapon. Oh my god. A Witch Hunter. Woo-wee! If you played Dark Souls 1, you may recognize that weapon. Ulasil Vanguard. Blade of Gwyn. And a Paladin, and a Blood Guard, a Death Knight, look at that thing, god damn, an Izalith Legionnaire, a Dreadnought, a Forlorn Soldier, a Deranged Hermit, before we end up on the base characters of the game, Ranger, Assassin, Warrior, Knight, but they have added these. So Boletarian Survivor is basically like the base version of all the characters. It's like a depraved, I believe is what it's called. But then they've added this guy, Lost Soul. Look at those stats. He has faith, and that's about it. So we'll be getting around to him eventually, but we will be starting by showing off the Geomancer. So I'm looking forward to it. He looks pretty beefy, so let's see. I should also say that they have switched up the burial gifts, so they've replaced the pointless gifts that you can receive at the start of the base game with some things that are slightly more useful. They've also added a couple of things that make the game more difficult, so you can lower your damage by 75, your HP, or your FP regen. This is a magic focused mod, so everyone of the new characters has FP regen for free. You don't have to spec into it, and it's really good. It means you can spam out your spells really quickly with almost no consequences. It's pretty overpowered, but obviously everyone starts super squishy, so your vigor is usually on the lower side of 10. So it's just something to bear in mind that it's not something you just run at. But there are some pretty cool things. So again, these are all pretty much personal preference, but I go with the 10 fire bombs just because they're quite useful a little bit later down the line. So here we are in the game with our Geomancer. Now let me quickly show you the way the weapons have been reworked. Essentially what they have is a mix of Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls, all that jazz, type of weapons mixed into the game, but they all do something specific and particular for the class that you're playing. So for example, the Geomancer has a hatchet, it's just a standard axe, but it does a two-handed special attack called Fissure, which I'll show you is pretty fucking good. Then it has a doused flame, which is basically what it says here, the Pyromancer flame, but it's been doused. You can see here it has affinities, so physical, dark, fire and magic, going from strong to weak. It also does a form of combustion, which is essentially just spitting rocks at people, but it's basically combustion. They've also reworked the armors, so if we have a look at the blindfold here, so you can see it has an effect on it, which in this case reduces the cost of conjurations by 2% for the hat, the body is 4%, and 2% for the gloves and trousers. This helps early on because your FP is going to be used up really quickly because your physical damage isn't that high with your like one-handed weapon for most guys, unless it's a physical magic type of character like the Geomancer. There are a lot of new rings as well to help boost some of that damage. You also start in a Covenant, which is appropriate for your class and allows you to collect currency that you can spend at your class merchant, I guess. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Stick with it, kids. Okay, let's try and kill something. So with the Geomancer, the spells, are really close range compared to the other guys. So as you'll see, the boulder there is basically just a fireball, but it does a shitload of damage. It is based upon physical damage, as you can see from the stuff that we went through before. There's so many new items in this game. You can see there I picked up something called a collision urn out of habit. You didn't need to see me do that, but I just did, so deal with it. The Geomancer also comes with a poison mist, which is actually pretty effective against, well, not these guys, but pretty effective against bosses and other big guys that you don't necessarily have the skills to kill just at the moment. So I'll show you some of that in a moment. So from where you first spawn in the graveyard, up the hill from where the normal crystal lizard king thing is a lizard king thing. He's absolutely the same moveset, blah 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 blah, but he can be a bit annoying, as you can see, because our health is so low. So what we're going to try and do is beat this guy. So here's our special. It actually hits 3 times. 2 times, depending on where you hit him. So you can see there, easy peasy. We poisoned him and then we hit him a bunch with our skills. Not too bad. Those are going to be our main point of skills for our boss that's coming up in just a momento. Okay, time for the first boss. It is usually Iudex Gunda or whatever his fucking name is, but it's been replaced by one of these assholes, but fiery. So what we're going to do with the Geomancer is poison this guy and then just bide our time so that we can do this skill. You can see there I'm absolutely chunking this guy. Just make sure to pick your timings with this. He does tend to get a little bit aggressive. He may kill me here, but this is just to show some of the characters that are good at this boss. This guy in particular really seems to get amongst it. In fact, it may be game over just like that. Not too bad, huh? When you kill it, you get this ring of bosses that are in this mod. And what you can actually do is re-summon every single boss that you come across. Some of them you'll know already, some of them are brand new. Look at them all, my god. So, you also get a bonfire here which you can rest at. And I'll quickly show you some of the things they've changed about the bonfire before we finish up with the Geomancer. And we'll only cover this the once, we won't do it again for the rest of the guys, we'll just show you the fighting parts. But essentially, you're able to travel from here, attune spells, organise the box as usual, alchemy crafting, which is probably for the alchemist, and you're able to level up at the bonfire. You don't need to go back to the blind lady, the firekeeper. You can also unlock Estes here. You don't have to go back to Andre to get that done. I think that's pretty convenient, and so do the modders. Anyway, that all being said, I think this is a great mod. It's really, really hard, but a new challenge if you're bored of the base game of Dark Souls 3. Perhaps you're a new game plus 10 and you're just sick of it. Or maybe you just like magic. Maybe this interests you just for that reason alone. And to be honest, I wouldn't blame you. But stick around. We'll be looking at all the other classes on here. And you can also pop by the stream twitch.tv/PackedLemon to ask any questions you might have in the meantime. But thank you very much and goodbye.